Hello and welcome to Three Cups Tarot. On this channel, I do readings intended to uplift and guide the collective towards their highest path. And today I felt called to do a reading to check in at the midpoint of 2025, which is a year numerologically of number 9. And so 9 is, I take it as a spiritual path and spiritual growth development type of year. And so we're all sort of collectively on this journey right now in 2025. Last year was year of the 8, and that was about building strength, internal strength. And this year is about kind of building upon that strength in the physical and internally into that spiritual development and growth. And so I wanted to start with this oracle card from the Woodland Wardens deck, which is the number 9, and it says the Weasel and Pine Introspection. And if you look at the major arcana in the tarot, number 9 corresponds to the Hermit card, which is also about introspection, spiritual growth, and then eventually coming out of the introspection to raise your lantern to provide a guiding light to others in the world. And I feel like that will be our next step, our next calling in 2026. So I want to start by reading from the booklet, the description of the weasel. And I read the first 2 lines already, and I was kind of amazed that the word warrior came out. And so I was called before this to do a couple warrior readings. I'll link them in this video, but one's about guidance for spiritual warriors, and then another for wounded warriors. So if that resonates with you, if you identify with being a spiritual warrior or a warrior in some way, you might have a message there. So weasels can be warriors or spies, moving quickly and often alone. They make observations from afar and adjust their plans accordingly. Remember that solitary creatures are nothing to fear, and an introverted nature is nothing to feel ashamed of. Knowing oneself and being comfortable alone are desirable skills. Like the weasel, the pine tree works to be self-sufficient. One of the fastest growing evergreens, its prickly needles have a waxy coat that helps them retain water. So that was for the pine trees section, part of this card. So I'm going to read the upright and the reverse interpretations, and you can take it with which energies you feel like you're in right now more. And then I'll give you the reflective questions too. So upright, it says, you are called to a time of solitude. Isolation allows for contemplation, which can lead to self-knowledge. Reverse, you may be overcome by loneliness. Think of the weasel's joy in solitude. Practice caring for yourself when alone. Meditate on the waxen needles of the pine tree. Ask yourself what protections you may need to remain green and healthy year-round. And I suddenly got a vision of like pine needle tea and bushcrafting videos on YouTube. So, or just camping or backpacking more generally. You might want to spend time in nature, in a forest if you can, or like kind of try some pine needle products. I remember, I think I had a pine flavored ice cream. I can't even remember where. Somewhere in California, I think. Sounds like something that would happen there. But yeah, if you see like a pine product when you're on holiday or just, going to the store, and you feel called to try it, give it a try. And also you can consider it, even if you don't try it, you can consider it as a sign, of reassurance that you're on this path of introspection right now, checking in now in the middle of this year of the 9. The intention of this check-in is to kind of, use it as a stopping point, a little bit of a reassurance that we're on the right track and we're headed in some sort of direction, some sort of outcome by the end of the year. Because I really feel like it's the energies of this year are a bit of a toil, a bit of a winding hike. If you've ever done hiking It feels like one of those trails where it just keeps winding uphill and you don't know when you're going to reach the summit, and you just gotta, all you can really do is keep following the winds and trust that you're going to reach the summit at some point, because you know you're going uphill, even if it's gradually. It's going to be just around one of those turns ahead. No matter how tired you are, it's coming ahead. So that's really what it feels like right now at the midpoint. That's why I wanted to do a check-in, or I was called to do it by my guides. So the reflection questions that we can think through are: when do I like to be alone? And how can I better understand and respect myself? So this is really kind of speaking to meeting your own needs. Even if you've been taught, especially if you've been taught to feel shame over certain needs, like needing alone time, maybe by a toxic, like anxiously attached person in your life who felt anxious when you asked for alone time, you can now build the boundaries and gift yourself that alone time when you're honest with yourself about needing it. And it sounds like it's pretty essential right now. I love how the pine is like lining up with these green crystals I have out. Green is really a healing energy for us all right now. Ancestral love tending, number 8. So this is really carryover from the strength year. And this is our foundation for the year 9. We have a supportive base of ancestral love and tending to build off on. So I'm also feeling like when you're giving yourself alone time, and if you're verging on that second reversed interpretation of feeling loneliness, you can reframe it for yourself and remember that you're not necessarily alone when you're with your ancestral connection and your spirit team. You're not ever fully alone. So you can think of it this way: it's more of that you're giving yourself space from physical connections so that you can communicate and connect better with the spirit connections that are really wanting to come through for you right now. That made me want to pull from this deck, and I feel like there's a message from your spirit connections here. Your life path is your life plan is unfolding as it should, number 14. And I feel like this is coming in as reassurance with timing, because it might feel like things are going really slow to the point that they might feel stagnant, and you might feel resistant to introspection and fear of like slowing things down even more. But this is reassurance that everything's unfolding as it should. Even the slow parts should be taken fully for their slow energy. And you can just kind of relax into that. Let it happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 spirits guiding you. That's a lot, I feel like. And their combination of ancestors and spirit guides. And I feel like people or spirits that you're yet to meet. So it could be like people already in the physical. But this is very much reassurance that there are 8, and 8 is an important number. So whenever you see 8 in like a significant way, remember that they're sending you a sign that you're not alone in this moment. I do want to get to tarot cards, but I'm feeling one more oracle card. Oh, the 7-star sisters, birthing creations, tapestry of life, expression. Beautiful. These really go together, don't they? It's like, this is you in the physical, and once you go introspection, it's all cosmos and stars from there. This is the whole world you're tapping into when you isolate and you give yourself space to. It's funny, we're talking about having 8 guides, and this comes in as a 7-star sisters. But it's like, it feels like that multitude of support. Again, that same message. But I want to read from the booklet, if I can find it. just used it yesterday. Oh, it's right there. 7 star sisters. To get a deeper interpretation, I feel like we need it. There are new creations that want to be born. That's kind of what I felt too when I was saying spirits you haven't yet met. They might not yet have been born either. Beauty that's yearning to be woven. New consciousness that's longing to be breathed into life. If you draw this card, you're being called to surrender to these creations, to usher in a new era of consciousness, and do your bit in weaving the web of life. This is the card of the artist and the midwife. You're being called to ponder questions. What wants to be birthed through you? What new creations are whispering in your ear? What beauty are you being called to make? Creativity and intuition come from the same sacred place. They occur when we find ourselves flowing with the rest of life. Earth is renowned as a planet of manifestation and creativity, and yet so many of us have forgotten how to create. Somewhere along the way, we stopped seeing ourselves as artists, as creatives, as poets. Yet to be human is to be creative. Creativity is part of your true nature. Perhaps you're being called to surrender to a creative project such as a new business or a book, or perhaps you're being called to weave beauty in your home or in the way you cook. Regardless of the end result, you're being called to express yourself through creativity, to surrender to the creative projects that both scare and excite you, to find a way to weave beauty back into everyday life. For where there's creativity, spirit and soul are present, and the world needs those qualities more now than ever before. And the reflective question is, what new creations are you being called to birth? They actually call it a starseed soul inquiry, and I feel like that's important to point out for that introspective work. So you might really reflect on the questions that were posed in this reading from the different deck descriptions. I really feel that this is like it said, a collective tapestry that's being unfolded and woven together right now, and everything's going as it should. Your introspective period right now is a big part of making that creative tapestry collectively that you're working on, and on an energetic level. But there is a physical manifestation to this as well. I feel like that's where the tarot cards come in. So for our spiritual path, check in year 9 and our spiritual development. What are the physical aspects to this work that's being done throughout the year, and how can we be guided on our next steps toward it after this check-in? So I shuffled the cards. I feel like I'm going to break it right here. Justice in reverse. The Hanged Woman in reverse. And the World card. All major arcana, which is like, boom, wow. The world feels like the tapestry that's being woven, and it feels like the outcome of this message as well. And I feel like the work that you are a part of, that you're doing energetically, that has a manifestation in the physical as well, has to do with reversing an injustice, restoring justice in some way, very broadly applied to your life, however you see that happening. It could even be a sense of personal justice. I'm hearing the phrase restorative justice, which is applied, I think, in my experience, often in the sense of like a colonial or oppressive histories. So like big social justice type of work could be very relevant to you, where you know that you're part of, say, like a common ideal or common belief, working towards similar outcomes, even if you've never met people who share the same beliefs across the world. This is very much like that physical manifestation is, you could call it like a belief system, an ideology, or a movement. So it still has that like ethereal quality to it, but it does manifest in its own branched out ways, you know, in the physical. So it could be as like come about as a book, or it could come about as like a program, a community program, or community center. Like there's so many ways that the ideal or the ideology that people find that it becomes relevant to manifest in their local vicinity. With the Hanged Woman in reverse, you have seen something. You do know now what it is to plant in the physical regarding this bigger mission. And the main message here is there's still time. Everything's unfolding as it should. Just because you know now, you have clarity, doesn't mean you need to rush anything. You can ease into this. You can take it as slowly as you want. I think I said this earlier. It might have been a different reading, but the main point is just to show up every day. Oh yeah, I said that in one of the spiritual warrior readings, so I'll definitely link those. Show up, and whatever work needs to be done for that day will present itself, whether it's 2 minutes or 25 or 2 hours. You don't need to push yourself any harder. You don't need to have like a rigorous schedule. All you need to do is a practice of showing up for yourself and for the work every day. So this could be like you sit in your living room and maybe you get into a meditative stance, light a candle, and just try to tune in and say like, okay, Spirit, I'm ready for my work today, and just see what comes in. It could be that you receive a vision or inspiration. It could be that you receive healing and you feel lighter. It's just kind of like clocking in and showing up. And don't forget that you're on a team of souls with this. So it's not all on you. The team is really being reassured here that you have a whole team and you're on a team. And so you can just check in with the team meeting, you know, spiritually, and you don't always have to make all the plans yourself. This Hanged Woman looks so relaxed, right? And so if you have a sense of ease when you have this vision, these visions of like, oh, okay, I know what I need to do next. Like it's just meant to be easy like that. You can trust that. Yeah, the tapestry will be woven in the end. You're doing everything right. Just keep showing up. And that's a big reassurance that like this year of spiritual development has been going well. I feel like the biggest outcome for your spiritual development is that you better connect with the team, and you better recognize that you're working with a spiritual team, and that really helps create this ease for you. Ease is like the big outcome of your spiritual development, and that sets you up to continue next year your mission with joy and ease, continuing on. And I'm going to leave your reading there. I feel like that's your full message, and I'm wishing you the best with the rest of your year 9 spiritual growth and development and your mission collectively. Thank you for any likes, shares, or subscribes to the channel, and I hope to see you in another reading soon.